Welcome to an episode of Founder in the Chair. I'm your host, Veena, and on this episode of Founder in the Chair today, I'm so excited to be joined by a guest whose work transforms lives from the inside. Rowan is a celebrity coach with over 20 years of experience working at the intersection of mind, body, and transformation. He has had the honour of working with Bollywood stars, Fortune 500 CEOs and people who have found themselves in some sort of life's darkest places. What makes Rowan's approach truly unique is that he doesn't just coach the body, he coaches the life. He helps men and women who are stuck, whether it's with addiction, low self-esteem, or a loss of identity, guiding them to regain control of their mind, repair their body, and move their life forward again. Through his work and his creation of the Meraki Movement, he brings world-class training systems, nutrition, and life coaching to everyone, not just the elite, helping people resurrect their identity, reclaim their body, and rebuild the future they once thought may have been impossible. So I'm truly honoured to welcome Rowan to Zara. Hello, Rowan.
All right, Veena, how are we today? Good?
We are good. We are good. That's quite different, the way you coach.
Yes, it is. It really came from I used to be a long time ago, I was an accountant, and it was all about business systems and getting going into businesses and looking at, what are the holes, what do we need to fix? And I've always been, I was an athlete. I was, since I was kind of 16, at quite a high level. So I've always kind of done training, and then I started coaching my friends as a hobby. And then I was kind of I went to Melbourne and I tried to get a job as an accountant and just couldn't find a job. So I was actually personally training people on the side just to get a bit of gas to pay for the bills. And then I loved it so much that when I came back, I thought, you know what, forget the accounting. Let's just go into PT. So I started doing PT, and I thought, why am I unable to get because I'm used to 95% success systems, like building systems at work and getting profitability in business or success. And I thought, why am I failing? I looked at the industry, and everybody's getting a 5% success rate in their clients if they're lucky. And then I realized actually it's the stuff that we do outside of the gym, outside of the PT sessions, and then kind of built an iteration of the Meraki movement, but it focused more on supporting food, supporting accountability and structure with training and food. And then I kind of did quite well, but I thought, no, I need to get to as close to 100 as possible, right? And then I realized actually it's all about the mind. And I think a lot of most coaches focus on the food and the training systems, which is great, but how can you get someone to truly follow that for the rest of their life rather than just let's lose 10 kg, because it's a holiday or I don't feel great about myself. So our ethos is about permanent change. It's about changing the person at a level of identity. So like Sandra becomes not someone who's trying to lose 10 kg, but the person that always shows up, the person that prioritizes herself, sets boundaries, can say no. And the whole business ethos is kind of built on the 12 pillars of, or 12 emotional pillars, we call it. So that's what we really work through with our clients. And the first one is always about people pleasing. If you can look at the kind of ROI you'll get from your results versus what we're working on, we found that people pleasing, if we can change someone and get them people pleasing less, we're going to get huge changes very, very quickly. Then we work down the other pillars. And then by the end of a year, which is what it takes, that person is completely different. Then we don't need to worry because they're going to make good food choices. They're going to want to train because everybody knows what to do, really, if you're honest.
Yeah,
it's about, can I do it?
Yeah. So you just said ROI there. So a little bit like an accountant,
yes,
but also a coach.
Yes.
So you say you do a bit of life coaching, which, like you said, once we leave the gym,
yes,
we leave our PT doesn't know what we're doing behind the scenes.
No.
So so if I was your client, for example, you're going to need to get to know what makes me tick. What do I do when I get home? What makes me feel down or what picks me up and actually makes me come to the gym? How would you talk to me? How would you find out all that information?
So it's kind of like, if we look at it in two parts, it's okay, the logistics of your life. What is the basic structure you have now? And if we've got someone who is not where they want to be, there's a breakdown in structure. So that's the easy bit. Fixing the structure, giving a plan for your lifestyle is easy. The second part is the hard bit. It's like, how can we create, and I work with women exclusively kind of late 30s, but really 40s and 50s, really 40s. Like, how can I free up emotional bandwidth? That's the key. Because you can have the best plan, the best structure, we can, diarize it, we can put it in a spreadsheet, everybody knows what to do. But when life hits you, the week starts, where do we go wrong? Like, where are the gaps? And it's always emotional bandwidth for women in their 40s. It's always, that's the problem. So we go to the root cause. Now, most coaches don't go there because, number one, it's hard. And number two, how do you get into a client's mind? How can you coach them? How can you train them? And that's why, I studied life coaching for a long time, because I knew that that's where really we create permanent change, real change for life.
Okay, so you're a life coach as well as a personal trainer. And how long have you been a life coach?
So I've done that for about 10 years.
And do you do life coaching on its own as well?
So I used to, but I used to kind of get better at it initially, but it was never my goal. It was always to bring life coaching into body transformations and get the two to kind of, because they go hand in hand, because what you're trying to do is get someone to create behaviors and lifestyle, but they don't have that emotional bandwidth to be able to do that. So you're trying to force like a circle into a triangular hole. It just doesn't work.
Interesting. So many people start fitness or diet plans, but fall off after a few weeks.
Yeah.
Why do you think most people struggle to stay consistent, and how can they finally break that cycle?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like what people are doing. They're trying to run up a treadmill on like incline 10. You can do it for maybe 2 minutes, but, do it for a year, or do it for 10 years. You can't do it. So it's about building, again, that mental resilience, building the emotional bandwidth so that they can, do what's needed to do. Because if you look at it really, we peel back all the layers, what we really expecting from our clients and what should they expect from themselves, it's make good food choices. Let's look at that as an example. Everybody knows what to eat. When I have clients, they say, I don't know what to eat. I say, that's not true. Really, is it? Everybody knows a piece of broccoli is a good move. Everybody knows that a packet of crisps is probably not a good move. Most people know that eating a lot of protein is a good move, but then when life hits them and it's like stress at work, or they're running around with the kids and they're finding it difficult to kind of manage that household in terms of like getting the kids to eat one meal, hubby wants to eat one meal, then they've got to eat one meal. Something has got to give, and it's always going to be them, because it's the easiest thing to drop. And so being able to kind of like get that client to understand that that's what needs to change. It's until we address that, until we look at why they're not making the decision, like what is stopping them making the right decision. Is it a structural issue? Is it about getting the family to be healthy, so they have to make one meal? Is it about everyone's expecting different things, and hubby wants to eat this and it's not healthy, and she's trying to adopt a healthy way of eating, and the two just don't align. So is it boundaries? Is it, you do your own food, I don't have time, I've got all these things to do. Now, where do we set the line of boundaries? And where do we get a husband to realize that actually, rather than sitting on the sofa and expecting his wife to cook, maybe he can learn to cook? But then really that stops with the wife, because she's got to be able to say that, so there's all sorts of things. So
she probably then goes home and then he hates you because she might be saying, well, you need to cook your own meal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So breaking the cycle is getting them to really understand.
Yeah, they got to understand themselves. It's always about, the answer's always within themselves. It's not looking outside. So we get people to really, really reflect, like, we can't control everything. We can only really control our minds, what we do and how we behave ultimately. So it's like, what can we do to the most like optimized version of yourself, that you can regulate yourself, you can control yourself, you can know what you want, know your worth, hold your line, hold your boundaries, say no, not have resentment, with, example, like your husband, because he's expecting this, but you do it anyway. So all of these things,
especially South Asian women, I don't want to do it, but we're expected. There's a mother-in-law, there's a husband, there's children, extended family.
The guilt trap, that's another huge area we look at. So it's guilt rewiring. There's guilt maybe from external family. Oh, you're not being a good wife, you're not being a good mother. And culturally it's instilled, it's indoctrinated in us. I'm being a woman right now, well, we have to do it. But who's saying you have to do it? You're saying you have to do it. Yes, there's an expectation, but you are choosing to live up to that expectation rather than doing what you want to do and breaking molds. Yes, breaking traditions and standing on your own 2 feet and saying, this isn't what I want to do anymore, because it makes me ultimately very unhappy,
So just touching on that. So you said you teach a lot of older women are your
Yes.
clients. So we're menopausal. Like
Yes.
just before we started, I was having a hot flush.
Yes.
And then we're also dealing with our hormones.
Yes.
We're dealing with the hot flushes. Nobody at home understands what we're going through. Our
Yeah.
kids don't understand. Our husband doesn't understand.
Yeah.
And traditionally, our mother-in-laws just was like, well, it just happened. Our periods just stopped and we went through this change and that was it. So we've got no education on it as well. So like for me, for example, I'm sort of like the first generation going through it now.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to my mum, so when did you go through it? She was like, oh, I don't know. It just happened and the period stopped. And I got hot flushes, but she didn't go to the doctors. She didn't go for HRT. She didn't start exercising. She didn't change her diet.
Yeah.
So we just don't even know what to do.
Yes.
So how do you deal with women like that when they come to you? Because we don't know.
Yeah. I'm going to be quite controversial when I approach this, okay?
Go
so
on.
bear with me. So the typical version I get of a prospective client will come to me on a call and they will say, I'm going through menopause and it's out of control. And I've put on weight because of menopause, because of my hormones, and I don't know what to do. Now, if you look at that statement, that person is not in control. That person is lost. The wheel of hormones that they can't control. And that's what they believe. What I say to that person is, yes, you have hormonal chaos, but you have that hormonal chaos because you've had the last 10 years, maybe 15, 20 years of abusing your body. So, of course, hormones are going to change when you get into your 40s, right? It's fact. But to the degree of change, and I know not everyone's the same. Yes, some people live a very healthy life and, hormones can be raging and it's very traumatic for them. It's very difficult. I understand that. But I'm talking about general population. If we looked after ourselves in our 30s and we didn't abuse our body, because when it's like a car. A car gets older. It needs MOTs and it will start to break down. Now our bodies are breaking down. That's why we age. That's why we ultimately die. So if we are looking at improving our health in our 30s, when we get to our 40s, we're in a much better place than abusing our bodies, getting to the point where it's out of control and we're suffering a lot, then say, oh, it's hormones. But what are you doing to control the chaos of hormones? And so a lot of people say to me, wow, you've done like 7,000 transformations. How have you managed women's hormones? I say it's not complicated. It's very simple. All you need to do is reduce inflammation in the body, look at what you're eating, make different food choices. You can't eat, what you did in your 30s because your body's 10 years older. It can't cope. Back then, the food's suddenly not toxic. The food's always been toxic, but your body was younger. It could cope with it. Now it can't cope with it. Look at exercise. Sarcopenia hits in, which is as you get older, you lose muscle tissue. So it affects everybody, men, females, but females especially will lose a lot of muscle tissue. Now, that will affect your insulin levels, that will affect your muscle mass, your metabolism. And so weight gain is going to be significantly increasing, just even if your diet's the same. So, are you weight training as a female in your 40s? Because it's one of the most important things to do. So is your diet where it needs to be? Are you eating anti-inflammatory foods? Are you weight training? Are you moving? Are you active with your steps? Are you looking after your mental health? All of these things build like a new blueprints for a lady in her 40s. Now, when you achieve that blueprint, everything, your body will start to regulate. Your body will start to achieve a new level of homeostasis, which it doesn't have because it's in chaos. So that's all we do. It's very simple.
Interesting. So if there's some women listening, you need to get in touch with Rowan. So you talk a lot about identity transformation.
Yes.
What does that mean for someone who just feels stuck, unmotivated, or they just feel like they've lost themselves?
Yeah.
Probably like those women.
Yeah, it's very deep. I think it's very deep, and it comes down to identity loss. So many, I've talked to, we work with over 7,000 women, as I said. So if you talk to somebody, say, how were you in your 20s? They were like so full of life. Oh, I was going to do this. I was going to achieve this. Had all these dreams, these aspirations of what I wanted to do. And then the tone changes. Then I got married. Then I had kids, and everything changed because women lose their identity, and that they're themselves, like the true state of what they've always wanted for themselves, becomes last, bottom of the list. But then it just disappears, and it's a huge loss of identity. So they become very lost. Now, as the kids get older, when I'm working with women in the kind of like late 50s, when the kids get older, they go to university and they leave, then you're left with an abyss. You're the fixer, you're the caretaker. Again, things we work on the program, and now you're not.
Get emptiness syndrome.
It's a void, yes.
Yeah.
And it's a huge shock. It's like, who am I? Like, what's my purpose now? You've neglected yourself for so long.
It's like taking all the titles away, isn't it? So you're not a mother, you're not a sister, you're not a wife.
Yeah.
So who are you?
Who are you? What's the purpose of you? And I think one of the things I really help with our clients, with the girls, is like, who are you? What's your mission? What's your purpose? And other than your children, other than your family, like for you, and you ask them that, they don't know. Like, I don't know. Think about it. And some people still can't think about it. It's so lost. And so it's a journey of like exploration of yourself, of like, I don't like the word finding yourself. I like the word creating yourself. Like, and that's the identity shift. We're creating a new identity for you. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to show up as? Like, what does that person do? How does she walk? How does she talk? What does she do? Where's she going? Like those questions are very powerful. And if you don't know, you're lost. And why would you want to get out of bed? I wake up, people say to me, you wake up 4:45 every single day. Why? How can you do it? I'm not motivated. I just know I have a mission in life. My mission in life is to change 1 million lives, to help 1 million people. So I have to wake up. I'm excited to wake up. I can't wait to wake up, do my walk, do my content, do my coaching, help people, come on, podcasts like this, and try and help people. It's my role. It's my mission. It's my purpose.
So you want to help 1 million people, and you're at how many?
So we're at 7,000. So we've got a long way to go. Yeah, we've got a long way to go. And that's.
But even 7,000, that's still a big number.
Yeah, and that's personal coaching. So obviously our reach is huge in terms of like, we've got like 113,000 followers on Instagram. Instagram is like all the time. It's like full-time job. Just going through Instagram. Like even this morning, like so many messages saying I was late for one of my morning kind of posts, and people were saying I felt lost this morning. I didn't have that motivation in the morning. So it's not about changing 1 million lives, but it's like personally coaching 1 million people, which is a big, it's a big mission, and that's the mission that I want to achieve.
So, Rowan, let's say I'm training with you. Let's say I'm on a treadmill. Are you talking to me as well, like coaching me as well, like about life, or asking me what am I going to do later on in the week or when I get home? Is that how it works? Or do you have a separate life coaching session where we're just talking one-on-one?
So how it works in essence, so I don't do any personal training. So like I stopped personal training probably about 3-4 years ago, and I was only personal training for the last 7 years, actors and actresses and kind of like people for movies. And so I have not done it with kind of everyday people for a very long time. So what we do, it's about giving people the tools. So we'll give you a training program on an app, easy to follow. We'll give you a nutrition plan. And every nutrition plan is different because it depends on the person, like how do they want to approach the nutrition. So we'll give them those basic things, basic outline steps, all the basic stuff. But what the USP of what we do is the check-ins. Okay, so the check-ins we do every week, and the 2 calls a week we do Monday and Thursday evenings at 8, where all the girls come. They talk about what they're going through, like talking. And for people to talk is hard. Talking to the right people, like coming and talking and getting the help, and being vulnerable. I think people have been so burnt. Like it's very hard, to be able to say this has happened to me. How do I change it? What do I do? And so coming to those 2 calls is very powerful. Getting that deep. That's where we do the life coaching. So only me doing those calls. And then I have like coaches, and then like people will do the one-to-one check-ins. But even the check-in is identity-based. So it's like, okay, what did you do this week? How did you approach your food? Were you successful with your food in terms of what you want? Were you successful in terms of your training goals? But that's where most coaches stop. And then it comes into, come on, Sandra, you can do it. You've got this. Like, that's not helpful. What is helpful is like, why? What stopped you? And it's always the 12 pillars. It'd be always one of those 12 pillars. And so we can go in and coach them and say, look, when this pillar happens, like you put yourself last, you felt, or maybe it's guilt rewiring. You felt guilty. Why did you feel guilty? This is how we want you to think differently the next time. Now, it's not going to change the next time because it's about repetition. But the more you repeat it, the more you're aware of it, awareness and then repetition, over time, it's going to change. That's why I say to anyone who wants to join the program, like, don't come for 12 weeks. If you want that, go and join another program. But if you actually truly want to change yourself, it will take a minimum of 12 months working on these things, because these are the things that will truly change you as a person. Because nobody needs a diet plan, really. If someone's weight training and they're building muscle mass and they're eating consistently over the course of a year, good food, they're going to get leaner. They're going to get toned. You know, it's not, people are so focused on the plan, on the nutrition, that they're missing the whole point of like, do you even want to eat these foods? Do you even like going to the gym? And if you're forcing it, you're running up that treadmill, you know, on an incline 10, and after 2 minutes, you're going to fall off. You're going to get off because it's not sustainable. So people talk about sustainable. I want a sustainable plan. No, you need a sustainable way to think. And that's the difference.
Interesting. So for people who are juggling careers, families, stress, what are the simplest but most powerful habits that they can implement, say today, if they were listening, to start turning things around?
Yeah. So these are kind of like the general things that we would always ask, like, what should we do? But it's always about going deep. Like, what is the stress? You know, what is, every stress will have a different reply. Like, you know, if someone's got, let me go through some of the things we had this week, where people won't respect boundaries. And no matter how many times, you know, the stress is the boundary. Like, people keep expecting these things from me. I keep saying no, but they just ignore me anyway. So it's, how do we deal with that? So a simple way to do that is reminding yourself that you are important, that you don't have to seek love or validation from doing acts of service for other people at the expense of your emotional well. You know, that's the strategy there. And it will feel weird. It will feel odd. You will feel like this isn't normal because you're challenging your nervous system at that high level. But if you're aware of it, oh, it's okay that I feel like this, breathe through it. It's my nervous system reacting differently. And it's not a bad thing. It's not guilt. It's me choosing me. Then the more you do it, the more you start to change, and boundary setting will become easy. And then everyone's conditioned to how we show up. So if we're always neglecting our own boundaries and we're just saying yes, 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 everyone just expects you to say yes, and they just need to ask you 2 times or, you know, 1 more time, and you will do it. So it's not just retraining you, it's retraining everyone. And what you'll see is people will start to leave and exit. When you know, I think that was my post this morning even, you know, when you hold your boundaries, the people that were there because they knew that you would be always sacrificing your boundaries and they would be taking things from you at your expense, that they will walk away. They will move away. And then you'll be surrounded with people that actually love you and value you and respect you. And that's the life that you want, you know, but you've got to be able to hold that line. So every stress comes from a different facet. So it's not about kind of like being able to give general advice to people, because that's general for a reason. It doesn't work. And the deep work needs to be done, but people don't even understand what the deep work is, what it involves. Like, where do we get the help? You know, so for me, I jump on calls all day long. That's what I'm trying to help people. Like, can I help you is what I'm trying to assess someone on a call. And for most people, they don't get it. And so for me, my focus is not just to take someone's money and say, yeah, like, you're not ready for Meraki Movement. No, well, I need people who are ready. They get it. We're aligned. Then we can make the journey. So, yeah.
That's so good that sometimes you'll just say no
Totally.
if they're not ready.
Totally.
Because otherwise they're just going to feel worse when they can't achieve whatever you may set them.
Exactly.
That's really good, actually. That's good to hear. So what about you, Rowan? So you were an accountant.
Yes.
And then obviously you're doing something completely different. You're not an accountant anymore, right?
No.
Okay. So that was a bit of a transition. So if someone's listening and they're an accountant or they're a doctor, they're a lawyer, and they want to go and follow their passion, what tip, what advice would you give them? Oh, yeah.
It all comes down to one thing, and that is safety. It's safety and certainty. So there are needs that people, not everybody, but I mean, everybody needs certainty and safety to some degree, but some people need it a lot. And so if your basic need is, I go to a 9-to-5 job and I get X amount of money a month, that makes me feel safe and I'm okay with that, then it's going to be very hard for that person to be able to then set up a business, because it's risky. You know, it's scary. You know, there may be months that maybe, you know, there's no money coming in the bank. You know, you've got to be prepared to that. There may be times that the business folds. Like, it's very risky. And so you've got to have self-belief. And there have been times in my personal life where, you know, my business has literally been am I going to be able to like survive tomorrow? But you've got to have your self-belief, and you've got to say, I believe in myself. I will get this done. I will do the work. You see, when people don't believe in themselves, they don't do the work. So I'm sure there are many of your viewers watching this who've tried to create a business. They've tried it. It didn't go their way immediately. And then they're like, this isn't for me. Because you've got to believe.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe, and I spend my life coaching this, that anybody can do anything they want if they want it bad enough. But most importantly, believe that they can do it. The self-belief. I mean, for me, my journey was, I came back from Australia, and I was probably charging, they value health and fitness a lot more in Australia than they do here. So they're paying, like, the average trainer is probably earning around £80 an hour. So I was getting about £18 an hour, which is more than I was getting as an accountant. So when I came back, I thought, this is great. We're going to come back, I'm going to make loads of money. It's going to be great, helping people. It's going to be fantastic. What a life. And then I went to Virgin at my first job officially as a personal trainer, and I was getting £8 an hour.
Wow.
I was getting £8. Can you imagine that? I was like, £8 an hour. This is like difficult. But I had this belief in my head, and I can't even tell you where it came from, but it was self-belief. And I thought, if I stay here for a year and I work hard, I know I'm good, I'm going to get an opportunity. I don't know what that opportunity is, but I know I'm going to get one. So I worked for a year, nothing happened. Okay. Every time there'd be a potential opportunity with a client, I was like excited, and then nothing happened. It's like a year later, and nothing's happening. And I was working 100 hours a week. Honestly, I was like, wow. Everyone else is enjoying. I was just either PT or I was talking to people. I was walking the gym floor, doing a class. Like, I was exhausted after a year. Then I got an opportunity to go to London to work in Northwood Gym. And everyone said, don't go. You're not a good enough personal trainer. These guys are so good. Honestly, you're going to fail. Don't leave your client base here. And I was like, no, I've got to go for it. So I went for it, and it was scary. Went there, and I was like, oh, this is all right. I'm actually feel pretty good. Yeah, it was brilliant. Then I had an opportunity to go to Third Space, and then I was nervous. These are the best trainers, in the country. Third Space. Went there, and I was like, oh, these guys aren't better than me. I'm okay. And I started smashing it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of just understood actually that it doesn't matter, but I still kept thinking, I'm going to get an opportunity. And then bam, after 2 years of working solidly, I got an opportunity which took me into the film industry. And I was like, see? And I would journal every single day. I'm going to be a celebrity trainer. So in my head, it was like, I'm going to work in, Hollywood or in Pinewood Studios in my head. But I ended up in India. And that's the way of the world. That's the way of law of attraction. Is like, you're going to get what you want, but it'll be an iteration of what you want. It's not going to be the exact thing, but it pays better than Bollywood. It pays better than England. So I was in the best situation, getting rewarded for my skills and helping people and living the best. Those years were the best of my life. And it was me believing, journaling, never doubting it. No matter, it took 2 years, doesn't matter. You got to keep going. And that's what my advice is, keep going. Like, the second you doubt yourself, the game is over.
Yeah. And
surround yourself with people who believe in you.
Absolutely.
That isn't, you cannot, I say this all the time, you cannot do it yourself. Life is too hard. You have your system. So I'm about systems. Have a system, have a support system, have people in your corner. Get rid of all the people that are not in your corner. I've blocked out family members. I've blocked out friends from before. Anything that will give me any form of negativity cannot be in my life. I would surround myself with my self-positivity, positivity from others. Like, how can I lose? Everybody's in my corner. I'm in my corner. That's my advice to everyone. But then again, you've got to be able to do that.
As they say, like, if you had a table, who are the people sitting at your table?
Totally.
Imagine there's only 5 seats.
Totally.
Who would you pick?
Totally.
So you mentioned Bollywood. Can you say who you trained?
So how I fell into it was very funny. So I'll tell you. So the first person that I trained was Amitabh Bachchan's best friend, who is Chiranjeevi. Okay, so Chiranjeevi and his son Ram Charan is like a very huge actor, and I was training these guys, and it went really well. And then I kind of, they were like, oh, you're a life coach, and I kind of started working with a few people who were really struggling. And the reason then that the film industry started paying, because I was charging a lot, they were paying me like £20,000 per month per client, okay? So it was some serious money. And then because I'm expensive, they don't want to call me, right? They can get someone much cheaper. I'm a lot of money. Then they're paying for my hotel. I'm flying like first class only. I'm in the Hyatt hotel. So the package is around kind of like 40 to 50K with my food and everything, a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
So then they weren't going to call me, but they started calling me because I was the only person that could get these guys who were going through mental health issues, alcohol issues, drug issues. Some were suicidal, because the film industry is brutal. A lot of people see the glamorous side. They don't see how hard it is to never be able to leave your house. These guys can't leave their house because they're mauled by people. I've seen it, and it's like I see it, and it's like a lion being in a cage in the zoo.
Oh.
How beautiful it is, but it's in a cage.
Yeah.
That's how they feel. The depression is real. The drug problems are real. The alcoholism is real. You see a side that's not true. So that film industry is it's sad. And I'm trying to ruin anyone's perception of the film industry, but it's sad when you're in it. It's sad. It's a different view. So they started calling me. So when I go over there, they know someone's struggling, and so I had it's all signing NMOs, all these kind of things. It's like enter NDOs. It's all about secrecy. It's all about they know something. So I was like having to be taken out of the back of the airport, all these kind of things. Training in people's houses. Everyone's got a gym in the house. It was very, very hush hush.
Yeah.
But then that was my thing. But then I kind of went away from there because it's quite it's sad. It's sad, and it's not nice to see. And then of course, I'm an empath as well, so I'm taking it all on. So I moved away. Then I started training I started working with Honda, CEO of Honda, Apollo Hospitals, and I started going to working with more business people, more CEOs, because then it was kind of it's a lot more normal, So yeah, which I enjoyed. And then COVID hit, and I stopped traveling so much. And then I'm like, okay, I love this, but I really want to help people.
Yeah.
I kind of I'm going to be honest. I kind of it got to my head a bit in terms of ego. And I lost sight of why I'm doing it. It was the money, it was the traveling, it was the private jets everywhere, it was the secrecy. It was it got to my head, and I thought, I've just lost the plot here. I need to go back to why I started this. And it wasn't about that. That was great. I never take it back. But you've lost sight of your mission, So I pulled it all away, and I had lots of opportunities to go, doing all sorts of amazing things. But I'm the more I do that, I'm not focusing on what I really want to do. Which is helping people. Even I was on Amit's a podcast the other day, and I wear my aura ring on my wedding finger, and he said, you're single. Why do you have it on your wedding finger? Because I'm married to everyone. I'm married to 113,000 people. I'm trying to help them and save them all. I don't have time for anything. That is my mission. That's what I'm trying to do. I spend every second of my day is focused on helping people. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really big of you to admit that you were losing yourself.
Totally,
and it was the glamour. You almost had this glamorous lifestyle.
Yeah.
But you found yourself again, and
Yeah.
so you would be the perfect person to help others then.
Yeah. It's not real. It's great, but it's not fulfilling. It's not whole. It didn't make you whole.
Well, some of the saddest people are people with lots of money.
I've seen it. I've seen people with, it would take me half an hour to walk from half an hour to walk from one side of their property to the other. That's just the house, not the garden.
Yeah.
And it's such.
And yet they're in a
money,
cage.
they're so unhappy.
Yeah.
They're so unhappy. And I think that's gratitude. I was even saying to someone this morning, I said, you just got to be grateful. I think if you miss gratitude, grateful that, we're in this amazing studio right now and we're filming and we're able to help people, that I'm going to go home, I've got a car, I've got a roof over my head. We become so consumed with what we don't have. We miss what we do have. And that then we're missing life. We're missing seconds of life.
Yeah. It's sometimes if I'm just feeling a bit tired, because I do lots of things as well.
Yeah.
And my friend will always say to me, but you get to do this. Do you know how many people would happily swap their life with you?
Totally.
And so, every now and then when you're having a bit of a moment, it's I just have to remember that I get to do this.
Totally.
Thank you. So how do we contact you? So if someone wants to work with you, how do we get in touch with you?
So the easiest place is to go on Instagram. So it's I forget my Instagram. So many. The Meraki Movement _. So the Meraki Movement _. Just send us a DM. and one of us will get back to you.
So is Instagram the main place that you hang out?
Instagram's the main. It's the hangout place. Yeah.
It's your hangout place, not TikTok?
Not TikTok. We are on TikTok a little bit. I mean, we've got some big plans for 2026. We've got some big plans. We're going to be smashing YouTube, TikTok, just LinkedIn, everywhere, because obviously, we need to expand our reach so we can help more people. But at the moment, we've been really, chilling in Instagram.
Chilling in Instagram. So when you say we, how many of you in the Meraki movement?
Oh God! So we've got 4 coaches. There's me. We've got a full-time editor who does all the editing. We've got a team of admin assistants. We've got 3. So yeah. Wow. There's a lot of people working hard in the background,
Yeah.
trying to help everyone.
Just before we go, the word Meraki, where did that come from?
So
Does it mean something?
Yeah, it does. So the word Meraki is actually a Greek word, and it means to do something with your heart and your soul. So it's how I try to live my life. I'm far from perfect, right? But it's everything that you do. Do it with your heart. Do it. I was saying yesterday to the guys on the call, I said, just do it. Do everything you do. Don't be miserable. If someone asks you to turn off a light switch, do it with happiness.
Yeah.
Do it with a bit of you. Because if you try to live your life like that, you're boosting yourself all the time, and you're helping people. It's rewarding, and you're showing up with positive intent, positive energy. And the world is a tough place. So the more that we create that internal positive energy and happiness, then you're going to create that aura of happiness around yourself. Don't look for it from other places. It's within you.
I love that. Thank you so much, Rowan.
That's okay.
Thank you.